Speaking of Intact Kenya, I was going to say that Intact Australia, we support and sponsor Intact Kenya in a lot of their work as well.
Hello, intactivists. I am back with Max Roberts. So, off air, we were talking about the Intactivist Network and SOS. So, do you want to pick off where we left off with that?
Yes, I was saying you were concerned about them not being around anymore. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a lot of their work and other organisations, social media work was Facebook driven. And I've found Facebook very hard to deal with, very hard. A lot of things I've wanted to post in Facebook, I just haven't been able to do it. So I think that may be a factor in a lot of organisations sort of not being seen at the moment, and I think a lot of people are losing interest in Facebook. And I know from the Intact Network point of view, it seemed to have slowed down a lot during the pandemic or start of the pandemic, and it just hasn't picked up again. The Saving Our Sons had tried to have a chapter in each state of America, and I know they're finding it hard to find directors and fill that again, a position in each state. I think there's a few that do post every now and then. I know a lot of Facebook posts from some chapters haven't been posted on in years, which is a shame. But they are still around. There's a group where members or mothers can post concerns that they might have or child queries with their children. So there's a group of members that converse with each other within this group. So that is an Intact Network orientated thing, and that is still quite active, I know. But as far as social media posting, that has slowed a lot.
Okay,
And
so
as it has been with me too, I don't post as much on Intact Australia now as I used to. I do the occasional post, but as I said, a lot of things I want to post on Facebook, it just doesn't allow me to do it. And I think it has frustrated a lot of people and they've just left Facebook. And that's where a lot of intactivism social media was done. A lot, maybe newer intactivists use TikTok and X now, but the older ones that used to use Facebook, they may have just left.
okay. So you've definitely worked with a lot of groups like the Darwin Institute, Foreskin Revolution. So is Intact Australia, is that the name for all the intactivist Australian groups, or is it a group in of
No,
itself?
no. Intact Australia, as I said, was a part of Saving Our Sons Intact Network and a chapter of that. So it's separate to Australian intactivists in general. We have our own group where we sometimes come together. It's called the Aussie Kiwi Intactivists, but that has become not so active over the last few years as well. But if someone posts in that, it's quite often, no one will see it for quite a while, or they won't get a reply from it. So that's a shame. But I would like to get that up and running a bit more again, so that we have more involvement in that group.
Okay,
Uh,
so
Another
oh,
Australian intactivist that's new to that Aussie Kiwi Intactivist group, we has started a forum. Tim Bullen in Western Australia hosts forums for circumcised men and just get together and just chat about anything and anything intactivist related even. So we get together about 3 or 4 times a year on that. So he will post upcoming meetings through the Aussie Kiwi Intactivist Facebook group there. So as other Australian intactivists, we do get together for social gatherings from time to time as well. So we do keep in touch. We're a close-knit group, so we like to keep in touch with each other and catch up in person if we can, which is nice.
Okay, so let me see if I get this straight. So Intact Australia is actually ran by Saving Our Sons, which is an American organization, right?
It's an American organisation, yes, yes. So we are a chapter of that. So the Savings Our Sons, although they're also in each state of America, they are outside of America as well. So they might have some chapters. I think there's a Intact Canada, I think, is part of the Intact Network group. Intact Australia is, and Intact Kenya is. It's it's a bit confusing, or it can be a bit confusing with the word intact and a country, because there are also some intact country names that are not part of the Intact Network in Saving Our Sons.
Yeah, no, it seems very,
It can be confusing.
yeah, confusing and complex almost.
Yes, yes. But
The-
speaking of Intact Kenya, I was going to say that Intact Australia, we support and sponsor Intact Kenya in a lot of their work as well. So Kennedy O&O, who runs Intact Kenya, he's been doing amazing work over there trying to get the intactivist message out amongst the Kenyans. And we've been sponsoring him with his radio shows. He'll need to travel to a nearby town and organise a radio slot for he and his companions to go on air and educate the listeners there about the harm of circumcision. They've got a huge problem with circumcision industry at the moment over
yeah,
with
I
the
think we actually
world.
interviewed Kennedy. He has
Oh,
a
did you?
long, yeah, he has a long last name. I don't want to mess it up.
Oh,
It's
to Himbo.
Yeah, I think we did
Yeah.
interview Kennedy though. That's
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
I didn't know that he was a part of the branch of,
Yes. Of Saving Our Sons.
yeah, Saving Our Sons.
Exactly.
That is
Yes, he
so
is. Yeah. So
crazy. Wow.
he's
Y- You
I
didn't
think he
say that.
does more work over there than I do here.
Yeah.
But and he's gone. I first got to know of Kennedy about 10 years ago when he reached out for help to try and block legislation to make circumcision compulsory in a particular area of Kenya, Western Kenya. The local politicians were trying to make circumcision of men compulsory, and he stopped that. He had meetings with local MPs and successfully halted that bill to make it
That's
compulsory. Yeah, so that was good. And then he had another recent scare with another MP in the Kenyan government wanting to make a circumcision compulsory for all men, and that he's not meeting with any politicians, but it seems like that's not going to go through. But it's scary what's happening on over there.
Yeah, so when you say MP, do you mean military police?
No, Minister of Parliament.
See, I was thinking military police. So
No,
I
no,
was
no, no.
like, wow, it's getting violent over there. Okay. All right,
But
that makes sense.
we'll sponsor him and send him some money for to spread his activism and advocacy work over in Kenya as much as we can. And he's been able to educate a lot of people through radio programs. He may have told you all of this in the interview that you did with him, but we're going to sponsor him again next month so he can do another radio show and slowly but surely get people turned away from being pro circumcision to rejecting it.
Yeah, that is awesome. So speaking of that, How successful are you guys swaying the law in Australia? Is that going well, or and how many years have you
Uh,
guys been fighting that as well?
a long time. We're the same as any other country in the world. No country in the world has been able to ban circumcision or make it illegal for males. And we won't be the first, and it won't happen for a long time. All we can do is try and regulate it in some way, so and put restrictions on circumcision, little bit by bit. So, say for instance, getting the consent of both parents for circumcision instead of just consent of one parent, and putting as many restrictions on the practice as possible. Doing bit by bit over time is the best way, I think, at this stage. We can't ban it altogether. It won't go through Parliament, through government. It's too controversial, too much of a hot potato for governments to look at. And we would have the same trouble as they've had in Scandinavia in the last few years, as they've had, trying to ban it and make it illegal for minors. The religious lobby is just too strong. They come in like a bulldozer and persuade their governments to, we don't want to be seen as anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic. So, you know, we we won't ban circumcision. So governments don't want to touch it at the moment. So it'll be a long time before it gets banned, if at all.
Okay. So it seems to me that you have influence on a lot of intactivism and intactivists. So when you talk to people, do you ever advocate for foreskin restoration at all?
Yes, yes. In fact, we did a television program a few years ago on foreskin restoration. In fact, I've got a little bit of a clip here. Um, if you would like to see it, Michael Winnell of Foreskin Revolution did an amazing interview with the producer on that. But I did a section on foreskin restoration, and we do have posts on that through social media at times. We will promote foreskin restoration, and it's a good thing for a lot of circumcised men to start, and it
Okay.
benefits them a lot.
I
But
can link it to in the description and people can just watch that. Under your links, we'll go and put all your links and stuff and people can just go. It's on YouTube, right? I'm assuming.
no, it's not on YouTube. The stall we had at Midsummer Fair is on YouTube. I'll link that in the links below for people to watch. But the SBS feed show is not on YouTube.
Okay.
I
I,
do have it here.
okay. Well, it's not like on a social media site at all. Like
No,
that's
no.
crazy. Okay.
It is on the Foreskin Revolution website, though.
Okay. Okay. We can link that for sure then. That's easy to
Yes,
just
yes.
link.
So if your viewers can link onto
Okay.
the Foreskin Revolution website, it's down towards the bottom of that. They can watch the show there.
Okay. Well, on the same vein of foreskin restoration, what do you think about Forgin? Or do you even know about Forgin?
I certainly do know about Forkin. I've been a donor with them for many years, and I'm waiting myself for them to get the technology ready. Hopefully, it'll be ready in my time before I cark it. But hopefully, in the next few years, it should be completed and ready for the general public to have surgery and procedure done. It's although it has taken a long time, it's understandable. It's no one's ever tried that before, and it doesn't get the same funding that governments give other
Nonprofits?
scientists trying to
Yeah.
do regenerate other body parts. So governments are not interested in anything to do with foreskin or regeneration or anything. So it has to be done privately, and Nenzo is doing a magnificent job there. So, and the team. So hopefully they can progress as quickly as they can and see how it goes. But I'm sure they'll have a lot of interest when it's completed and it's ready for the general public.
Okay, so how much would you be willing to spend on getting your foreskin back?
I I was involved in a survey about that. Look, it's always been known. Forgen have been quite open in saying that it's going to cost around about $20,000 for the procedure. So I've always known that, accepted that. So right, okay, I'll have that money there to spend on it when I want the procedure to
All
want it
right.
done.
That's
So yes,
awesome.
I'm prepared to spend 20,000 or more just to get my foreskin back,
Yeah, that is awesome.
and a
I
proper real foreskin.
y yeah, I definitely hope that works out, and I hope Fortune can succeed. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they're making small strides, bit by bit over time. So I think they'll get there. If they have setbacks, I hope they can overcome them. And in the past they have. So I have faith in them that they'll come through and get to the end goal. So hopefully within a few years.
alright. So, where can people follow you at? Because I feel like you have a lot of you're involved in a lot of things. So, where can people follow you at and, like, your socials and stuff?
I am on Facebook. I don't have any other social media at all, but actually I do have a Twitter, an X account, mrobo1, but mainly through Intact Australia or the Darwin Institute.
Okay. And what do you think of the POTS channel? I know you just subscribed recently, but
Have. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and you do amazing work with your interviews with all the intactivists and intactivist organisations. So thank you for that. It's amazing work that you're doing, and I know you're a relatively new platform and an organisation. So wish you well with all of your interviews, and I think if you can keep interviewing and keep and presenting the intactivist news, everyone is going to be interested in signing up to watch you.
man, I hope so. So, we did speak for about an hour-ish. Um, if somebody had to take away one thing from this interview, what would it be?
It's I'm just happy to talk about the Australian intactivist scene and what we're doing over here, some of the organisations that we have, and just letting people know that what we do in our organisations, how we as intactivists in Australia interact with each other. We're all good mates. We like to catch up from time to time. So anyone watching, I think just be generally supportive of each other. Don't fight, just try and get along, support each other with your various ways of advocating. Yeah, and hopefully the intactivist movement can become stronger.
That was Max Roberts' final part 2 interview. Let me know what you thought of it by commenting down below. I will have his links in the description so you can go ahead and check out the Darwin Institute and more. Please give this a like and a subscribe so you don't miss other interviews. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and Max today. It was an awesome time. Bye!